seems to me like I'm a 2-year-old, okay? Because there's an element in this thing I just cannot get through my thick head.
Well, the element is that the New York Football Giants suck. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Literally just got back from the stadium. Wasn't going to jump on the mic. I just was listening to the Cowboys leading the Commanders at one point in time, 27-20, and they still had the ball with a minute 27 left. And I hit the lock, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's talk about this 30-7 debacle that was known as the New York Football Giants. Yowza. Tommy, I felt bad for Tommy DeVito, which I think is hilarious though, because he put up Daniel Jones's numbers: 21 to 31, 189 yards, 6.1 average, sacked 4 times. That poor kid was under duress all day long. He had no opportunity, especially in that first half. He had no opportunity to even look downfield. And I really felt bad for him because it's like the offensive line all of a sudden just forgot how to block. I know they're dealing with injuries. I know they're dealing with the whole situation, but it just kind of, you reach the point where you're like, wow, they are bad. I've been saying it before. Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. There is talent on this team. Don't let people tell you there's not, but there is talent on this team. And I've said this before, and I've said this a million times. This is a cut and paste team. This is a collection of talent that does not fit with each other. And then some of these pieces that you have are just redundant. And that's kind of where it is. The tone was set on that first drive of the game when they had the ball for 7 minutes, and we literally the defense couldn't get off the field. This was a defensive breakdown just as much as it was as for an offensive collapse. My seats are on the 50-yard line, 16 rows up. So I'm 16 rows away from the garbage. So where I'm sitting, you can literally see just how bad that this defense played and how out of position and how Baker Mayfield literally had 14 and a half minutes to throw the ball. Coming out of a bye week like this, how do you throw up a clunker? I mean, we have always had issues, the Giants, coming out of a bye week. Always. Going back to Coughlin, we've always had issues. But this is almost like this team wasn't prepared at all. It was weird. It's almost like, wait, we're playing the Vikings? Oh my God, we're playing the Vikings. I didn't know that. The Vikings? I'm not the Vikings. That's what I'm saying. The Vikings. I'm already harkening back to the Viking games. We're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh my God. Couldn't even think. That's how bad this was. I got the Vikings on my mind after that because I was there, of course, for the Vikings embarrassment. And I was there. I was there for this. I was there for that. I mean, it just was so bad that you couldn't even put a finger on how bad it was. Brian Dable is already reporting that he's sticking with Tommy DeVito to start with the Giants on Thursday night against the Cowboys if he is healthy. Well, here's the problem, Brian. Who says you're going to be fucking back? Well, of course, on a short week, they're not going to fire Brian Dable. You're not going to fire Brian Dable on a short week. But this was a shellacking. I think this was worse than the Minnesota debacle. Now, I find it interesting, like I said, because we got to the game early, like we always do. We had a lot of fun in the parking lot, hanging out with everyone, just having a good time. But then you kind of just, everything, the mood changed as soon as you hit that stadium. And I shouldn't even say that. I laughed though because, and it's almost like the fans took a break too. Because there was literally no energy in that stadium today. You have Salute the Service Day. You have all the military branch there. You have the veterans there. It was a great day. I love Salute the Service Day. I really do. I go every year. I go to every game, but I go all the time because it's just a great atmosphere. The crowd was flat. Not even the crowd wasn't even flat from what happened on that first series. The crowd was flat just from the start of the game. It was kind of weird. And I was sitting there even telling my wife, because I took Mrs. Online Big Blue with me, I said, this is weird. There is no emotion in this crowd. There's none whatsoever. I don't understand what the hell's going on here. And it kind of led that way through. And it was weird because it was a pretty packed house. And it was weird because I'm like, there's a lot of people here, but there's like no emotion. What the hell is going on? And like I said, from where I sit and when I'm on the field, I get a really good vantage point of everything. And it was just hard. It was just terrible. It was just to a point that you see. We've talked about them losing the locker room. We've talked about the disease of me. We've talked about everything that goes on. But you kind of are seeing it more and more now. There was the play that Baker Mayfield fumbled near the goal line, and not Baker Mayfield didn't fumble, but the Tampa Bay Bucks fumbled at the on the goal line. The ball was bouncing between the legs of Giant players. It's like, look down, look the fuck down, because there's the ball. I'm not saying that would have changed anything. But it just kind of reached a point where you're like, dude, can we show a little effort? Can we show a little heart? I am really starting also to dislike Brian Burns' play, only because of the fact that I tried to watch him individually, and a lot of times that's what you need to do now when you're watching these garbage games. You have to watch teams. You have to watch players individually because you have to see their effort on all the plays. Tyler Nubin, 100% effort. McFadden, 100% effort. Kayvon Thibodeau and our old buddy Brian Burns, the carbon copy Ghost Brothers.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
And nobody on that Tampa offense was afraid. I got to call out Dexter Lawrence a little bit too. Dexter Lawrence was sitting there looking like he was gassed sometimes with his hands on his hips. And I'm like, dude, you just had 2 weeks off and you're gassed already, and we're not even into the third quarter yet. On a bright note, because there is bright notes. You always have to have bright notes. On a bright note, we didn't get any turnovers. We had no interceptions, so that's always good. No fumbles. We played consistently bad within ourselves. Oh, God, I can't wait to the live stream on Monday. I wasn't going to do a live stream on Monday because the kids are in school and there's a lot going on and then they're off for like the whole week and after that. And I wasn't going to do a live stream, but I think I have to do a live stream. But it was just a bad total effort from top to bottom, from the first man to the 53rd. This has nothing to do with Tommy DeVito. I'm sorry. We had 2 fumbles. I forget. I forgot the Malik Neighbors fumble, and I forgot the Tyrone Tracy fumble. And we lost the Tyrone Tracy fumble again. I forgot. Tiki Barber, you should call Tom Coughlin, because we all know Tiki Barber took back the thought process that Tom Coughlin helped him, but he should just call Tom Coughlin and say, hey, please help me. Please help me. Please help me stop fumbling. Malik Neighbors, 6 catches for 64 yards, still 10.7, 9 yards a target, 21 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson got upended on that one nice catch in the first quarter. I enjoyed watching. But the offense is stagnant. Drew Lock was 1 for 3 yards, so I guess that's a bright spot. Bucky Singletary at times was just making us look god awful. They ran the ball 32 times for 156, almost 5 yards a carry, and 4 rushing touchdowns. As a season ticket holder, man, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. And like I said, I literally I trucked my ass up to that stadium. I had to get up early, brought the loving wife with me just to hang out and spend some time, eat some good food, talk to some Giant fans. But that building is just, I hate MetLife. I've said this before. I've hated MetLife. It's nowhere near what the Meadowlands used to be. There's no home field advantage in that building. Like I said, they show the decimal meter when it's going to be like, oh, it's 3rd and 6. They show how high the decimal meter is. It's like 0.86, 0.87, and it never gets above like 0.87. And I'm laughing like, well, that really fucking sucks. And for those that are in love with Daniel Jones still, I'm never going to do another Daniel Jones video, but I will talk about him for a second. For those that are in love with Daniel Jones, there would not have been a different outcome with Daniel Jones. We may have lost 36-0. because Tommy DeVito did his best impression of Daniel Jones. This is my thing. If Daniel Jones was 21 for 31 for 189 and also ran for 32 yards, Daniel Jones' panty boys would be creaming themselves. But Tommy DeVito does the exact same thing, but he sucks.
That's what she said.
Someone's got to explain to me. I had said the other day on the stream that I hope the Giants run off 7 in a row, just to show the fact that there is some talent on this team, because there is talent on this team, guys. This team is not totally devoid of talent. You can go into the cesspool of the Twitter spaces, and they'll tell you about how this team has no talent. There is talent here. The problem is, and I'm going to say it over and over again, this is a cut and paste team where the talent mimics each other way too much at certain positions. There's no variety. There's no depth in reference to having, it just doesn't fit together. And like I keep saying, this is a cut and paste team. This is a poorly constructed roster, but you have talent. Tyrone Tracy, I think, is talented. Devin Singletary, why I don't like him as a feature back, has talent. Wan'Dale Robinson, why I don't think he's the greatest wide receiver, has talent. Malik Neighbors has talent. You know, Darius Slayton to me has talent. I think Tyler Newman and McFadden have talent. Okereke, I think he's kind of in that second-year Blake Martinez mode, but he has talent. Same with Phillips is playing well. You can bash Banks, but he's basically playing at the same level he played last year. Pinnock has talent as well. You also have Lawrence, Dex Lawrence and Brian Burns. You also have the likes of Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, there is talent on this roster. Is this a 2-win team? No, and people will tell you, well, it's a 2-win team because that's what the record says. That's the stupidest fucking comment I ever heard. Because there have been plenty of teams who were supposed to go to Super Bowls that had 5 wins and then next year turned it around completely. Sometimes you have talent. Sometimes you have the wrong coaching staff to bring the best out of this talent. So just have faith, guys. Hang in there. And I'm talking to people that listen to this channel, because I'm not talking to people on Twitter Spaces because they're fucking idiots. I should rephrase it. Only certain people are. Because they just, and I always thought, and I talked about it before, I always thought it was going to be, it's the Daniel Jones thing, that all certain segments of fans are toxic just because of the poor play of Daniel Jones. No, they're just toxic because they want to be toxic. I see talent on this team. I am a season ticket holder, so I don't want, and I've been a season ticket holder for a century. Almost a century. Oh, god damn, I'm fucking old. Almost a century now. So I can tell you, I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. And the people that don't shell out the ducats to be at this game that I know live in the area and I know all they want to do is talk negative about the Giants, that's all they are. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're probably going to get a high pick. I'm still going to go to the games. I'm still going to get on the mic and I'm still going to bitch about it, but I'm going to be there. Because that's what you need to do. But everyone always tells me I'm toxic and negative. But you know what? You need to look at and accentuate the positives. And there are positives on this team in reference to talent. They're just not coached well. And this team is just not put together well. So have faith and have hope, guys. Live stream tomorrow at 11:45 a.m. Make sure you're there. And as always, this is Tim on Big Blue Sports. Don't forget to like, don't subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell if you want to know why. That'll be awesome.